Hi there, my name is Miya, and today I'm going to demonstrate the 3 types of musical theater singing and how to best begin navigating those as a younger singer or someone interested in musical theater. Those 3 things are belt, legit, and mix. So to quickly go over a few definitions, belting is what we refer to as the very kind of loud, brassy, almost yelly quality in musical theater. So if I were to demonstrate, usually pretty straight tone. This is also used a lot in pop music. Legit is the complete opposite end of the spectrum, sort of what you'd more associate with classical music, opera singing. For example, an excerpt from The Secret Garden. Come to my garden. Pretty classical, almost sounds like it could come out of a classical concert. Some of the older musicals out there, like the Golden Age musical theater, uses this type of singing. And then we have legit, which is very popular these days. This is what we call sort of the type of singing that's in between belting and classical singing. So it's not all straight tone, really bright in your face, but it's also not lots of vibrato, lots of vowel. It's kind of somewhere in between. And this is a really important type of singing, especially if you are navigating a tricky part of your register, whether you are a guy or a girl. So with these 3 things in mind, I'm going to pull up a musical theater song that sort of has all 3 qualities in it, or you'd at least probably try to use them. So I can demonstrate how you would best navigate this in a song. But in terms of warming up, if I were teaching a student sort of an intro to these 3 topics, I would start somewhere down low. Wouldn't take them too high immediately because we would need to be warming up anyway, and starting too high can present issues. So I would take them down depending on their range or their voice type down. I'm a mezzo-soprano, so I'll demonstrate if I was working with a mezzo-soprano or an alto. So I'd probably start somewhere around middle C. And for someone who hasn't really accessed their chest voice a lot before, or maybe they've done a lot of choral singing, I would probably have them start by talking and then matching it to pitch. So for example, we go, hey, hey, and I would show the student how to do it without using your throat, using your abdominal muscles. Hey, having it come right out of this area, but not having it be nasally. So I'd probably have the students speak like 3 heys. Hey, hey, and on the 3rd, sing. Hey, or sorry, wrong key. Hey, hey, hey. And obviously it would be to the student's benefit to kind of voice their spoken hey downward near where the pitch is, but not every student may be able to do that immediately, and that's okay, just as long as the basic idea is there. And then I would also incorporate some very bright vowels to warm up the bottom. So for example, like you're a baby babbling ba 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 ba, or you're a sheep, and it's okay if it's a little bit ugly. And I think it's important to remind the student of this, because in students I've taught in the past, they get really anxious making noises like that, and it's completely understandable. However, this is crucial to really feeling like that chest vibration, but nothing going on here in the throat. So I'd have them do something like, and also put their hand here so they can feel it. Ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba. Again, these are just introductory exercises. If I were to continue to work with a student long term on musical theater, we'd obviously do more than just that. Okay, now intro to, then I would take them up a little bit higher and introduce legit singing last. So for a more classical I would introduce legit next, introduce mix last. So for legit classical singing, I'd really have them access their head voice. Now for someone who's already been in choir or has sung in a choral setting before, usually they have no problem accessing this. It's the kids that have sung a lot of pop music or maybe have had previous musical theater experience or just love to belt in the shower that sometimes have trouble accessing this kind of lofty head voice tone, like a la Julie Andrews. So the way I would have them go about this is similar to the belting, where I'd have them speak in a little bit of a higher voice or just do some like unpitched whoo, 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 like they're an owl, just so they can feel that resonance and loftiness sort of up here And again, nothing going on in the throat. So I do a similar thing. I'd have them probably say one who and then do a descending pitch. So if I were teaching a mezzo, I'd start here. This is F. So for example, whoo, whoo. If the student has vibrato, I'd let them, put it in, because that's really important for legit singing. If they don't, that's okay too. We're just trying to access their head register. I might take them a little bit higher, but not uncomfortably high, just to get a sense of range. And then I think it's important to teach mixing last out of the three for like a crash course in musical theater, because for mixing, it kind of requires skills both that are in the belting and the legit singing. It's like a marriage of the two almost. So for mixing, I would probably have the student start by singing one note in chest voice, and then one note in head voice, and then another note in mix. Now these can all be the same note, but it has to be a note. In fact, that would probably be a good way to start for a beginner, but it has to be a note that can be sung in all three registers. So down here, ooh, would not really work for head voice. So for a mezzo soprano, someone of my type, I'd probably put A, orchestra A. So I'd have them do it in chest voice first. So I'd have them go, hey, hey, right? And then, ooh, ooh. And then for a mixed sound, I'd have them go for like an E or A vowel. So, hey, hey, ooh, or ooh, ooh, E, E. So as you can hear, that was not quite fully belting, but it also wasn't full head voice. It's nice to be able to explore this with vowels first versus words. That way the student can just feel everything without worrying about text or anything like that. Another thing I might have them do is just sing through their break, which is oftentimes where we mix, right? I would have them sing through their break or in the middle of their voice on an E. All it's sliding, so that way they feel comfortable and like, because sometimes people are anxious about their voice breaking. But truly one of the most practical ways to show these in a crash course would be to demonstrate or have the student, if I had a live student in front of me, which I wish I did, but COVID, I would have the student sing different excerpts of a song they're working on. So for example, if I were to pull up a musical theater song, I'm gonna go with God Help the Outcast from Hunchback of Notre Dame, the musical or the movie, they're the same. So Esmeralda is a mezzo voice, can be sung by alto or mezzo. So for example, the opening line, let's say a student is working on this, or even if they're not working on it, if they just want to, hey, how do I sort of figure out how to incorporate all this into singing? I did just pick a random song and we'd work on it, just for demonstration or just for beginning learning purposes. So Esmeralda's first line, I don't know if you can hear me. So that's very speech-like, so that's a great example of belting. So I'd have the student speak it. I don't know if you can hear me a couple times, making sure there's no major glottal, like vocal fry going on. There's no throat issues, just having them speak it. And then we'd add the pitch in. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. Something like that. Again, I'm going really quickly here, but we'd spend more than obviously 30 seconds on that. Then I would pick a section that's more in the legit heady register. So for example, I would pick her first, God Help the Outcast. Now, that's not high. That is absolutely a note that could be sung or mixed, but in this context, it should be sung with a more legit tone because she's just entering the cathedral. It's soft. It's sort of traditionally done that way. So I'd have the student, if this is the pitch, ooh, 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 find that space again, and then I would have them do the vowel the word is on, so God, so like an ah, oh, 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 with or without vibrato, whatever's most comfortable. I wouldn't push either direction per se. And then, ooh, oh, God help the outcast, hungry from like that. And then for belting, or excuse me, for mixing, the last note she sings is a perfect example of this. God help the out, we've changed keys at this point. God help the outcast, the children of, and then she mixes on that note. Again, that note could be sung in head voice or more of a belt, but it's traditionally mixed. So in this case, because this is kind of a breaky note for a lot of, I would assume, young female voices, I would probably have the student start in more of a head register. Ooh, ooh, ah, it's the same word, God. God, ah, and sort of just find that heady place. And then I would have them speak it, God, God, in that sort of heady register while simultaneously feeling some buzz right in the mask and in the chest a little bit. This is one of those things that it would be a lot easier to show if I had a live student, but God, 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 finding a mix of the two and then have them sing it. God, God. Or what I could also have them do is God, God, belt at the octave below, then God, God, a more legit, and then sometimes showing the opposite end of the spectrum helps a student find the middle, then God, something like that. So yeah, I hope this has been fun and informative, and I had a lot of fun filming this, and thank you so much for considering me.